Good morning and welcome everyone. This is a great day in the city of Sacramento for a lot of reasons. Beautiful weather. Before we get started, I just want to thank the 4 firemen who were involved in an explosion the other day. They put their lives on the line on a regular basis. Thank goodness that they're all doing well and recovering. One has been released from the hospital, the other 3 hopefully today. So again, we want to thank our men and women in uniform. We're here today to talk about taking another step in making history. One of our goals in Sacramento is to be the leader when it comes to the state of California as it relates to service and volunteer hours. I think most of you know last year we had a goal of 500,000 service hours, and we ended up getting 1.7 million service hours in 2009. We challenged our high school students, and they ended up having 10 schools who contributed 16,000 service hours. So we want to be a city known for giving back to our community. When you think about the economic challenges that we're all facing, that's when it really takes the ability to marshal resources and to be able to do more with less. And we've had public-private partnerships, one after another, where everyday people have stepped up to really lead our city forward. So I'm very proud of where we are today. You know, when I was in office and first got elected, within the first 2 months, we kicked off an initiative called Volunteer Sacramento. And that initiative was to really say that no matter what we do in our community, it's going to be everyday people, businesses, nonprofit, public and private, all coming together to take on our most difficult challenges. So behind me, we have a host of people, so I'm going to name a few of them before we get into the program. Trent is here with us from the Congresswoman Doris Matsui's office. Susan is with us from Senator Darrell Steinberg's office. Nancy Olson is with us from the governor's office. Mary Lynn, I see Mary Lynn way out there. Mary Lynn, come on up here. You're always trying to be shy. Mary Lynn works for the city of Sacramento. She's our volunteer coordinator. We'll let Mary Lynn make her way up here. She's a quiet soldier. All right, Nancy, come on up, Nancy. There you are. And where's our representative? Trent, come on up. Is Susan here as well? All right, great. Terry Munder, come on up. Terry led our volunteer efforts a year ago. So what you see is leadership from many key stakeholders: Sac State Community Service Planning Council, Hands-On Sacramento, Volunteer Center of Sacramento, Nonprofit Innovation Center, Salvation Army, Volunteers of America. They're either behind us or out there. This is the strength of Sacramento. This is our diversity. This is Sacramento trying to, once again, lead the way. Also behind me, we have 4 or 5 of our key sponsors. So as you know, last year we were able to raise money, and this year we were able to do it again. And I want to thank Kathy from AT&T, Kaiser, Kristen from Kaiser, Chet Hewitt from Sierra Health, and Amelia from Walmart. Let's give all of them a round of applause. We ended up getting them to contribute nearly $250,000 so that way we can marshal more resources and leverage those dollars into more activities in our community. We were lucky enough last year to be joined with 17 other mayors back in New York City. Mayor Bloomberg answered President Obama's call to service last year, and he organized 17 mayors, a coalition of mayors. And we as Sacramento were one of those 17 founding mayors for an initiative called Cities of Service. And that initiative really is challenging other mayors around the country to join these efforts. It's challenging mayors around the country to come up with a comprehensive service plan that we will be implementing in our community. It's also encouraging other mayors to share best practices and what's happening around the country. And then lastly, we want to make sure that mayors are leading the voice at the federal and legislative level, talking about how important it is to making sure that we spend dollars so that we can leverage locally. So the important thing here, you guys may not know this, but around the country, this is one of the most innovative things happening in the last 20 years when it comes to service. When mayors are leading the way at the local level and making sure we're organizing ourselves, organizing city services, organizing nonprofits in a way to tackle our most challenging areas at the local level. So I'm very proud to be a part of that in city services. President Obama last year signed the Kennedy Service American Act, where he really is saying, look, he wants to double the number of AmeriCorps volunteer efforts. You know, last year we doubled the number of AmeriCorps volunteer efforts in our country. That's building on what President Clinton did, what President Bush did with the Points of Light. So again, the best in the spirit of our country is really volunteer and service. So I get the honor of talking about how we were able to be the recipient of a Rockefeller grant. Only 10 cities around the country were able to be the recipient of a Rockefeller grant where we can hire a chief service officer. So some of you may want to know, what is a chief service officer? It's someone who works hand in hand with the mayor's office, encourages services, increases volunteer opportunities, tailors volunteer efforts around the city in our most pressing challenging areas. And that person that we hired, who I think is the right person, you got to prove yourself here in Sacramento, is Keith Hart. He comes to us from Baltimore. He's worked at the federal level, he's worked at the state level, he's worked at the local level. He's worked in areas, his track record is very impressive. High impact service initiatives, both urban, meaning in our cities, and out in rural areas. So when you think about this being another regional effort, yes, the urban is important, but we have many rural areas in our region, and he's adept in doing that as well. So I am very proud to announce our Chief Service Officer in Sacramento. It's the first of its kind. LA is copying us. Let me say that very clearly. Get used to it. First of its kind, Chief Service Officer Keith Hart.